Hey, decided to make a quick video. I got some exciting stuff in the mail. Here it is. How cute. Somebody wrapped this up and drew this picture on here. So yeah, this is a MBRP downpipe and MBRP intercooler piping for my Arctic M9000. We'll be installing those and we'll see what happens in the winter with this kit. The intercooler pipes have some scoring on them, but overall they look okay, in decent shape. So I'm excited to put those on. One of them is coming off of the turbo right here. This one coming off of the turbo and going to the intercooler. The other one going from the intercooler to the throttle body. Basically what happens, because they're rubber and nylon reinforced, they expand under boost. So to get rid of that expansion contraction and create a better flow, we go with the aluminum piping. Plus, I think there's gonna be a big plus for this pipe coming off of the turbo, because it's gonna be packed with snow over here, and that hot air coming out of the turbo is gonna be able to cool off in the aluminum pipe, where here in the rubber it's not able to do that. So that should be a plus. This one though, because it goes over the exhaust manifold, I might end up wrapping with some heat reflective tape or heat reflective, some kind of a material to reflect the heat after the intercooler. As you can see, the downpipe is right here. This is the stock downpipe. Mine is wrapped, and this is my aftermarket one that I've yet to open up. And let's open it up and see how it looks. Here it is. MBRP downpipe for Arctic M9000 or Arctic 1100. I unwrapped it. So yeah, like I said, this one is used, but it does look like it's a really nice quality. All this is made out of stainless steel, TIG welded together. I just measured the diameter. I was really curious what diameter it was, and I didn't know. They don't say on the website. Bikeman sells a 2.25 diameter downpipe and then a 3-inch. This one is a 2.5. I measured it. I might have touched it a little bit, but yeah, it was 2.499. And so it's actually the same as my exhaust diameter. So yeah, looking forward to getting that installed and running it this winter. That should be fun. Stay tuned. It's almost 4 o'clock. Finally, we got the TT out of here and got the sled pulled out. But had so many boxes around it, it's ridiculous. So we're just recycling all the boxes, cleaning the area a little bit up so we can have room to work on the sleds. My brother Ivan's bringing his in. He's gonna be doing a clutch and oil change. There it is. And I'm gonna be doing the downpipe, the intercooler piping. Gotta finish up installing the boost gauge, and then the last thing, if we have time, I'm gonna do the rear bumper. Масло будешь менять? If you're gonna change oil, let it warm up.
It's warm already.
It's already got the light on?
I warmed it up before.
Oh, I see. Just a little bit more cleaning. Garage looks so much better, so much more room. Saturday before the Montana trip. This is what happens. Right before we leave, we start working on them. What you doing? You gotta take the bolts off?
Yeah.
Hit the bolt. Yeah, hold it on the bolt. This is damage from last year. Speedworks exhaust, and my brother runs a straight pipe. Breathe. Here I am working on the sled, and I got some of the coolant out, suctioning it out through there from the radiator. Again, we're going to the waterless coolant, so we want to get all the water out, which I feel is kind of like almost impossible. I will try to remove this tank to dry it out. There is a oil part to it, this back side, and the coolant part is the front side. So I don't know if I'll be able to really take all the coolant out of this engine, which kind of makes me be scared a little bit because they're saying like only 5% of the water can stay, otherwise it gets contaminated or something. So we'll see what happens, all the stuff came apart really easy and fairly quick. And here I'll have access to the downpipe bolts, and the oil filter will be changing oil. It's still warm. Here's some of the coolant lines that I'm hoping to drain and also use a suction to take as much coolant out of there as possible. Yeah, hopefully this goes by quick, but we'll see. And we'll be taking this out and going to a aluminum piping over here. So I took off my heat wrap, or what do you call it, heat shield that I have wrapped. I bought this aluminum foil. It's a really thick aluminum foil basically, and I bought a roll from eBay to use it as a heat shield, and I had this pipe wrapped completely. I actually wrapped the header before when I had the snowmobile taken apart the first time, and look what happened to it. It melted right where it gets the hottest. It just melted a hole on the header. So pretty crazy, and you know it's working. It's containing the heat inside for faster flow or more velocity, I guess. Now, as you can see, I wrapped it all the way around the header, and I saw that it's melting right on top where it gets the hottest. There's another heat shield here, but both of them together work really well. So I'll probably end up wrapping it again. and I started taking off the downpipe. So here I am working on my M9000, and this pipe just looks so shiny. It's probably like the best piece that's gonna be on this snowmobile, everything else. But yeah, the downpipe is pretty cool too. I mean, it's built really well, and it's gonna be all wrapped, so you won't see it much. But it's in, it's tightened up, drained the oil, put new oil in. I am drying the cooling system, trying to blow air through it and get as much water out of there. So yeah, looking at the rear bumper, I got really disappointed how it looks. It really looks bent up and everything. So we kind of fixed this already a little bit, made it look a lot better. And I gotta remove this and put on my nice shiny, I forget what this bumper is called, but it's pretty nice. The best thing about this bumper that I really love is at the back end, compared to a stock one that just goes straight over here, the handle goes up. So when you're buried, the mud flap or whatever, the snow flap is not pushing against your hand and breaking your fingers. Plus it's easier to grab once it's higher up in the air. So that should be a really good benefit from this bumper. Yeah, there's a big crease over here. So once we get this off, we'll try to straighten it as much as possible and put that bumper on, rivet it on, and should be really nice. Bad thing? So the back bumper is finally off. There's this crease that I was talking about that we need to straighten out. My biggest thing is I really wouldn't want to break the radiator, and you can see there's a big crease in the radiator all across over here. And I need to straighten out this side, which probably means that I'll have to bend this arm in the end over here, pound it back up, because it seems to be bringing down this whole side. So yeah, it'll take some hammering, and I'll try to find a way to support it over here and then hammer down over here with a 2x4. Hopefully I won't damage the paint much. But the rear bumper is all off. And there was some, what do you call those, rivets that were already broken, and some just were a pain to get out, but most of it went pretty okay. Over here, the rivets are so like massive and strong that I had to grind them off, and I didn't do a very good job because there's quite a bit of I grinded off quite a bit of this material, which is also what keeps this sled sturdy in the back here. You can see the crease over here. I know it's hard to see in the camera, but here's a crease, here's a crease. So all of that is kind of bent, but that's why this part needs to go up. And we'll try our best. If it doesn't look all that good, I'm not gonna stress about it too much. I really want to go riding, and we're supposed to leave tomorrow at noon. It's Monday, about 9:30 in the morning, and I'm just trying to dedicate to finish this. I did more air blowing, and you can see some more coolant came out. I left the hoses open, and the temperature in the garage raised up to 75 degrees to dry out as much coolant as possible. I also started the engine a little bit ago, dry just for a minute to warm it up so it evaporates all the water in the engine. And I'm gonna blow it once more with air, and whatever comes out, that's gonna be it. The waterless coolant, the company does say that you want to have less than 5% of water in there, and I think at this point I'm definitely there at less than 5%. So I just want to do a good job, so that's why I kept the cooling system open so long. But at the same time, I only bought a gallon, and I can't find the spec of how much coolant goes in the sled. I'm assuming a gallon is going to be enough, but again, that's just an assumption. So I need to get this going as soon as possible, and if I am short, I'll probably be calling everybody in Minnesota, or all the parts stores and sled stores and power sports stores, to find more waterless coolant, which I don't know if they're selling it or not. We'll find out. So I already started wrapping the downpipe. As you can see, I got one layer on one side, the other layer on the other side. For now, I left it open because I want to actually wrap the flange too. My bumper was starting, or the hood was starting to melt right where the flange is. And my old one was wrapped only to the flange, and then the exhaust was doing the rest of the job. So I'll actually be probably wrapping part of the top, at least the top part of the exhaust, hopefully to keep that to keep my hood from melting. And again, this looks really shiny, love it. And I ended up doing this to the filter, which I kind of like. I mean, a lot of people run all they run is a sock. What happened here is the stock air filter is made out of paper, and it was soaked. Mine wasn't soaked badly, but it was oily. Again, it would clean the air really good, but then you don't get as fast of a flow with oil in there and stuff like that. So I ended up cutting with a blade the old paper. You can see there's still a little bit left over here. And I bought these socks on eBay. It was like a couple dollars plus shipping. And I just stuck it on here, and it looks awesome, and I think it'll be performing good too. So we'll see what happens. Also got a boost gauge. For now it's zip tied, but eventually I want to make a bracket to hold it. And I ran it to in between the fuel pressure regulator. Can't see anything in there. Here it is. There's a T that's going right to the intake manifold, and then it goes down to the fuel pressure regulator right there underneath, and it kind of wraps around over here and comes to the boost gauge. So that should be pretty cool. Yeah, with the flash on, this pipe is really shiny. I love it. Although it's gonna be covered up with the hood, you're not gonna see anything. And I ended up doing my brother's intake first, because his was really soaked. We had an accident last year towards the end where he was going up, and there was a snowbank, like really high snowbank, and he ended up flipping the sled right on top of him, jammed the throttle, and the sled was upside down for quite a bit, and then oil leaked out and soaked the air filter, and yeah, we had to wait, and it actually flooded the engine a little bit too, where we sat there turning the engine by hand for a while until we got all the oil out of the pistons. And then when the engine was turning over by hand, then we finally cranked it, and it started back up. It's been running fine. He drove it last year. I mean, we drove it from the spot probably for another hour towards our trucks and where we were staying. So it should be all good. This year well, we're hoping for a really good time. We are kind of going early in the season. This is gonna be December 6th that we're leaving, or 7th. No, December 5th, and we're gonna be there on December 6th. So we'll be starting to ride on the 6th. So yeah, I gotta get this going, and we'll try to keep the progress and make videos coming. So I've been working really hard on this rear bumper setup, and this is my kind of a different color that I wanted to add to the sled. I'm actually thinking of getting a blue wrap on my hood and the side panels. So hopefully this blue is gonna match the blue that's gonna come on the decals, or whatever you call it, the sticker, the wrap. And I also painted my front bumper blue just because that was the color that I found in the store when I was there today. I actually wanted to do like a really bright yellow, kind of like almost yellow whitish, like really bright yellow basically. That would have been pretty cool. Here's the downpipe all wrapped up. I actually got even half of the exhaust wrapped in heat shield or aluminum foil, whatever you want to call it. Here's the other side, painting it, or I painted it, waiting for it to dry while I was doing the other side. And this side is basically done. It's riveted on, everything is done here. I did miss like a bit of here of blue, but I'm not gonna cry about it. So move on. It is 2:30 in the morning, and we're leaving tomorrow at noon, and that's why I'm staying up and trying to get this done. Honestly, the front looks all taken apart, but it only takes a few minutes to put it back together. I'd say 10 minutes and it'll all be put together. So my goal is actually to finish the rear bumper, because this is the hardest part. Lining up and getting these rivets over here is pretty tough, and these rivets they're not like just aluminum rivets like these are. They're like a heavy duty, because it holds the track on this part. So, but yeah, just moving along, trying to get this done as soon as possible, so I can go and get some rest, get some sleep before we take off. And I do like how it turned out, for sure. It's about 11:15. I'm still working on my sled, finishing it up, just putting in the rest of the stuff together. Everything has been pretty much done. Just need to throw the hood and the side panels on. Now, the last thing I did was I wrapped this cover for the intake in the gold reflective tape. So is the intake manifold, if you want to call it that, because this is where the air is coming into the engine. And yeah, it's 11:15. I still need to go and put all my clothes together. I have it all picked out. I just need to throw it. And I'm still not done. I kind of feel embarrassed about it, but I don't want to stress out about it. Let's just keep going, get it done. So it's already 12:30. Finally, I got all the pieces done and together. It's been crazy. The guys are already waiting for me, but I'm really excited. I did forget this piece over here, so I had to like rip the bumper out and take it apart again for it to go back on. So it was quite a mess, but I love the way the blue turned out. The blue and white looks good, the blue and orange looks good, so I think it's a really great third or fourth color addition to the sled. And the guys are already loading their sleds up. I still gotta go throw my stuff together. Here's my brother Ivan and his Igor.
Не, у меня не
2
получается.
RMKs. And you guys ready? You won't listen to me. I said just take off this thing. One bolt. No. And for the first time we're gonna try to tow with the Eco Diesel and see what we get for gas mileage. That'll be interesting to find out. Here we are on our way driving to Montana, and it's almost becoming a tradition stopping at Country Cat. And here's some used Arctic Cat. It's really cool to see an old King Cat, a Mountain Cat, and that one's a 159. Yeah, and some other used ones. Probably really good deals on them. Короче, вот мы едем в Монтану и смотрим видео с прошлых поездок. И тут Игорь решил сказать такую очень важную фразу. А ну, говори, что ты там сказал?
Что я сказал? Что техника должна под тебя согинаться, а не ты под нее.
Что этот snowmobile должен под него подстроиться, короче. А может научиться надо ехать сначала? А?
Ну, ехать уже умею.
Да. Дома по трейлеру. Да, и они запарились вытаскивать там.
Вот такое, она говорит, вот